Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions of today. We are talking Friday, May 2nd. Happy Friday, everybody. It also is my birthday month. No big deal. I'm going to technically have four, but it's more likely going to be three home run picks for you guys to lock in for today's MLB betting slate. I'll explain that. I promise it'll make sense. So we do have that to look forward to. The Dong Report is back in your life. Now, before we can get into today's picks, I do have to do a recap from yesterday. And I wish I could come on here and say something different other than it was another rough one. But unfortunately, that was the case. We did not get any of our three guys to hit a home run. We have now hit 2 home runs in the last 8 days. So starting Thursday of last week, I've only gotten 2 guys to hit a home run. It's absolutely brutal. This is what happens. This is unfortunately the Dong life. That's how things go. Now you look at the season I had in 2023 was absolutely incredible. At one point, over 70 units of profit. I had a stretch in that season where I missed 24 straight home run picks. There was like a 10-day stretch where I did not get a single home run to be hit. That's unfortunately how things go in the Dong Report. That is Dong life for you guys. I wish I could say something differently. That's just the nature of the beast. You kind of have to accept that it's going to be very, very high highs and very low lows. You know, we've gotten 3 out of 4 on 3 nights. We've gotten 2 out of 3 on a couple nights, but we're currently in a rough stretch. And again, I wish I could say something different. I know it's probably, I just come on here and say the same thing over and over again, but you kind of have to be able to take these types of losses when you are betting home runs. You could pivot to bases, which is going to not have nearly as high as the odds, but your hit rate's going to be better. I'm going to stick with home runs, but my pivot would be bases if you guys just don't quite have the stomach for that. No judgment there. Anyways, on the entire season, you kind of got to take a step back and understand this. We're up 9 units, just under 9 units of profit. And that's while playing everything for roughly a quarter unit. That's going to be my average bet size. The most important thing here is that ROI of 26%. That is really, really good. And if you're a heathen and you're playing 1 unit on everything, you're up 38 units. Now, the reason why I don't play 1 unit on everything is because of what we're currently exactly going through. You know, there was a stretch where we would have been up like 50 units playing 1 unit on everything. Now we're up 38. So you would have been down 12 units over the last 10 days. I just don't quite have the stomach for that, which is why I play things lighter. But another way to keep this in context is last year at this time, I was playing everything for a half unit and I was down about 20 units in the month of April. You know, it can always be worse, put things in perspective. Let's turn it around. Enough dilly-dallying, enough of that. So the play that I'm technically counting as might not end up happening is Cruz. So he is technically, I did bet him. I have money on him, plus 400 odds at FanDuel. I put a quarter unit on that bad boy. The reason why I said most likely 3 is because I'm pretty confident that this game is going to get rained out. If you look at the weather in this game, there is, and also this Nats-Reds game is probably going to get rained out as well. But this Padres-Pirates game, there's a 78% chance of rain, and it's going to rain all night. So I have a hard time believing that this game is actually going to be played. You can tell also here it's highlighted kind of reddish, pink, purple, depending on how that comes through on the screen, because it's most likely to rain, and this game is most likely not going to be played. So I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. If this game is played, then Cruz is an absolute smash. He's been hitting the crap out of the baseball, been destroying the baseball. Yesterday, he hit a baseball that traveled 396 feet, would have been a home run in 22 of 30 stadiums, but it did not clear a fence because it was hit to dead center field in like the worst possible part of the park. Like the outfield at the stadium is 399 feet. He was 3 feet away from hitting a home run. And the frustrating part is look at some of the home runs that were hit. 392 feet, 395 feet, 388, 392. 4 home runs were hit that were shorter than 396 feet, but it all depends on where you hit it. Now, he unfortunately did not clear a fence, so that goes down as a loss. But I love the matchup for him once again today. I love the pitching matchup. I love how hot he's been at the plate. So if this game is played, I love Cruz to hit a home run. I just don't think it's going to be played. So I'm going to count that as an official bet if he plays. I just don't think it will. So my official bet that we're actually going to go into much more analysis on is Shohei Ohtani. I'm taking him to hit a home run. I absolutely love taking Shohei. It's positive EV on Ballpark Pal, which, you know, I've bet on Ohtani a couple times this year. He's come through for me once, and I've lost, I think, 3 times. Every single time I bet on Ohtani, it's when he's positive expected value at Ballpark Pal, because it's rare that you will see Ohtani have higher odds on the books than what Ballpark Pal is pricing it. Not because Ballpark Pal is wrong, but because you're normally never getting good odds on Shohei Ohtani to hit a home run. Ballpark Pal has him at plus 187. FanDuel has him at plus 285. So that's kind of showing you the difference between and why it's a positive EV play on BPP. I put a link to Ballpark Pal in the description of the video if you want to check them out. I think they're an amazing tool. I show you exactly how I use them for home runs, but you can use them for a lot more. This game, I'm not as worried about it being rained out. If we go to Dodgers-Braves, it's like a 10-11% chance of rain, so I think it's going to be fine. Wind blowing out, so that does help us. And I believe that the stadium it's a little bit short. Yeah, it's a little bit shorter in left field. Now, it's a taller fence, but you don't have to hit the ball as far. Righties have to hit it a little bit farther at the Braves Stadium. So the reason why I'm taking Shohei Ohtani is he's absolutely red hot at the plate. You look at him in his last 6 games, he is destroying the baseball. He's been incredibly hot. You look at him in the last 2 specifically, he's got 2 barrels in each of the last, or he got 1 barrel in each of the last 2 games. So he's got a barrel in 2 straight games. He's got a barrel in 4 of 5 games as well. And he's got a combined 5 hard hits in his last 2 games. That's really, really good. You know, you look at Shohei, I bet him on the 28th. He did not come through with the home run. He was walked 3 times in that game. And then guess what? He hit a home run the day after. That happens. That's the nature of the business. But the day after that, 3 hard hits in 1 barrel. Red hot for Ohtani. You know, he had a little bit of a colder streak earlier in April, but he seems to be out of that. So that's good. We want to bet on a guy when he's hot at the plate. The pitching matchup, Grant Holmes, is as good as it gets for Shohei Ohtani. It's an A matchup for Ohtani. It's an F matchup for the pitcher. Plus 10, extreme advantage in favor of Shohei Ohtani. Now, because of how good Ohtani is, he's going to have the advantage over a lot of pitchers. So you're going to see this plus 10 a lot for Shohei Ohtani. And you go through it. I mean, the guy's obviously incredible. It's an A plus versus on the release points for Grant Holmes. Grant Holmes throws a fastball the majority of the time. Obviously, Ohtani crushes every pitch, but he's got an A plus against the slider, which is what he's going to see 31% of the time. The best pitch for Grant Holmes is his curveball. 21% of the time he throws it. Maybe he'll throw it more because it seems to be his best pitch. Ohtani crushes that as well. And, you know, Grant Holmes started off the year decent for the Braves. He's not been great in his last couple starts, especially his last start. Gave up 3 barrels, 8 hard hits, hard hit rate of 47.1%. It's very much not good. 2 barrels allowed in the start before that, and then 3 in his second start. So you look, his first start, he barely pitched. I think he only went like 1 inning in that game, so it's really his last 5. And he hasn't been great. He allowed 3 home runs in his last start. Now, this is going to take a little bit to load because Fangraphs does this. The only really concern here is that Grant Holmes hasn't allowed a home run to a left-handed hitter yet. You go through his logs and his advanced stats against the lefty. It's nothing that is going to scare me off, which is why I feel fine going with Ohtani. Yeah, you look at his splits, like all 5 home runs have been to righties. That definitely, you know, it doesn't bode well, but again, it's nothing that I'm scared of. You look at his stats here. The line drive rate and fly ball rate are low, which is why the hard hit rate is a little bit lower. But we still get the righty versus lefty matchup, so I don't necessarily think that it's going to matter that he hasn't been hit super hard by lefties because it's Shohei Ohtani. So I love going with Ohtani to hit a home run. Again, 285 odds at FanDuel, or at FanDuel, and I put 0.35 units on him. I guess it went up down to 280. I'm still good with that. I put 0.35 units. So instead of doing a quarter unit, I upped it a little bit, obviously because of the lower odds. So that is play number 1. Play number 2, another chalkier pick here. I'm taking Brent Rooker to hit a home run. He is best offered at plus 350 odds at both ESPN Bet, and it's also offered at Bet365 at the same price. This is another one where a chalk guy like Brent Rooker is considered positive expected value. You know, the true odds on him are plus 291. According to Ballpark Pal, we're getting him at plus 350. So, you know, it's rare you'll see Ballpark Pal rate guys below 200, below 300, which they're doing with both of these, which is a big point of why I like these plays. Now, looking at Brent Rooker, I'm not going to pretend that he's the hottest batter in the world, but he hasn't been terrible. You know, you look at his last 2 weeks, is what we're looking at against right-handed pitching, which is what he's going to be facing. 3 home runs, that's decent. 10% barrel rate, 50% hard hit rate, 45% fly ball rate. All those numbers are fine. The issue that he's had is he's striking out a lot. So, you know, he's K'ing 30% of the time. That doesn't really bother me because if you're swinging for the fences and striking out a lot, that's fine. You know, you strike out twice, you hit one nuke, that's good for us. So the strikeout rate doesn't really bother me when I'm betting on someone to hit a home run. If it was like HRR, hits, runs, RBIs, or even bases, maybe I'd be scared off a little bit more, but we just need one at bat. And if he strikes out the other ones, I don't really care. The biggest thing here is the pitcher is going up against Valente Beloso. He's only pitched 8 innings this year specifically, so we don't have a ton of data off of this year. Last year, he was a dong machine. We're looking at his stats from last year, and he was a lot worse against righties as well. 10 of his 15 home runs were allowed to right-handed hitters in about 30 more batters faced, so the sample size isn't that much bigger. Home run per 9 against righties, 2.43, 1.42 against lefties. That's disgustingly bad for both. It's really bad for righties. Advanced stats, all really bad. 56% fly ball rate, 16% line drive rate. So what's that? A 73% combined line drive plus fly ball rate is disgusting. Hard hit rate, 35% is fine. Pull rate is a little bit lower than what we're asking for. But if you're hitting the ball hard and you're putting the ball in the air at the rate he allowed batters to do so, that's why he allowed so many home runs. And the pitch mix is perfect for Brent Rooker as well. Sweeper, cutter, four-seam fastball. We just look at those 3 pitches. Brent Rooker, even though he's been colder in the last 2 weeks, against those 3 pitches specifically, 15% barrel rate, 54 roughly percent hard hit rate, and a 60% fly ball rate. So it's kind of like, again, he's going to strike out a lot, which is what he's done 3 of the last 4 times he's seen one of these pitches. The last pitch on a four-seam fastball, he's either been walked or struck out. But then we see 391-foot home run, 108 miles per hour off the bat, 100 miles per hour off the bat. Just got under it a little bit too much, 41-degree launch angle. 95, so that is a hard hit. 102, that was a 406-foot home run. 398-foot home run. These are all in the last 2 weeks. So even though it's not been an amazing 2 weeks for Brent Rooker, it's also not like he's been completely lost at the plate. And he also just hit a home run 2 nights ago. So I'm good going with Brent Rooker to hit a home run. Again, that's at plus 350 odds at both Bet365 and ESPN Bet. And then our 4th and final pick of the video, the 3rd one that I think is actually going to play, I'm going right back to Brenton Doyle. I took him to hit a home run yesterday. He did not come through. That doesn't scare me off one bit. Now, the biggest issue here is going to be the weather. It's not a hitter-friendly park at all, Oracle Park, and it's a little bit cold. Now, the humidity is higher than normal, which is going to help with carry, but it's not the best weather in the world. Now, it's not terrible to left field, which is where Brenton Doyle is going to hit his home runs. It's like typically bad, and it's still bad today, but it's not as bad as it is to right field. And a pull hitter for a righty like Brenton Doyle, it's not as scary when you're hitting a home run to left field. Now, it is windy with winds blowing out. Granted, the way the park works, the wind isn't that impactful on the carry of the ball, and it is a little bit colder. So all the negatives here are really about the weather. Everything else is perfect for Brenton Doyle. Now, this leans in favor of Ray. Doesn't really scare me off that much because Brenton Doyle is such a young hitter, and he's been hot this year, whereas Ballpark Pal is taking his whole career into account. So for young guys, I love Ballpark Pal. They're a phenomenal website. They're a little bit slower to update for the younger guys, just something to keep in mind. And so Brenton Doyle, I was on him yesterday, and I'll show you the last 2 games he's played baseball. So this was 2 nights ago. This was why I was on him yesterday. We're looking at, where is the Rockies game? We're looking at, here we go. So we're looking at what Brenton Doyle did on the plate. This was Wednesday night. Did at the plate, not on the plate. He was at the plate. If this loads. So 2 nights ago, he hit a double that was 402 feet. He had a home run that was 421 feet. And he had a flyout. Where's Brenton Doyle? He had a flyout that was 395 feet. That is 3 hits that all are almost perfect in terms of launch angle that traveled 394 feet. 390 or more, feet. That was Wednesday. Let's look at what he did Thursday when I bet on him to hit a home run. Now, he didn't hit a home run. Here's what he did at the plate. 106 miles per hour off the bat, 103 miles per hour off the bat, 102 miles per hour off the bat. The issue was he didn't have the launch angle on any of these. 8 degrees, 16 degrees, 6 degrees. I know that Brenton Doyle can hit the ball hard and he can put the ball in the air because he just did it 3 times the night before. So him not having the launch angle yesterday doesn't scare me off at all because he still hit the ball incredibly hard. I mean, you look at his hard hits. He had 3. The rest of the Rockies combined had 5. Had 5. He had 3 of the 8 hard hits for the Rockies. So he was awesome at the plate. you look at him in his last couple games. So hopefully I refresh this because right now Fangraphs doesn't have yesterday's data for this game. It's only starting on April 30th, and I want to show you his last 5 games. While we're waiting for that to load, the pitcher he's going up against is Robbie Ray. Nobody to be scared of. Robbie Ray, he's a lefty, so we do get the righty versus lefty advantage, and Doyle is slightly better against left-handed pitching. We go to game day insights here. We're looking at Robbie Ray. Just kind of want to show you. So he's a lefty going up against a righty. His numbers aren't terrible. 9% barrel rate, 43% hard hit rate, about a 50% combined, little above. Fly ball plus line drive rate, not terrible. Definitely not anything to be scared of. Home run per 9 of 1.49 is pretty bad. But the pitch mix is where it really favors Brenton Doyle. You look at him the last couple weeks against lefties. Granted, it's a smaller sample size, but 9 at-bats, 1 home run. And you look at what he did, the home runs that he hit. Chris Sale, 421 feet. Chris Sale, 402 feet. Chris Sale is not as good as he was last year. Still a very, very good pitcher. So Doyle has been hitting good lefties hard. And then the pitch mix is in favor of him as well. The most important thing here, four-seam fastball and slider. And Brenton Doyle, 20% barrel rate, 50% hard hit rate, 50% fly ball rate. You see, it's a small sample size. Even if we look at the entire season, we just look at the whole year. 11% barrel rate, 42% hard hit rate, 28% fly ball rate. So not quite as good as the last couple weeks, but still pretty good. Beck is always going to be a good bet, but he has been ice cold at the plate. He had that 3-game stretch where he was insane. He hasn't been able to do anything on either side of the plate since. So that's why I'm off of Jordan Beck. And then Hunter Goodman isn't a bad bet either. He's also been a little bit colder recently. The home runs he has hit have been earlier in April, one on March 31st, one on April 14th. So he hasn't really done anything in the last 2 weeks where Doyle has. So that's what led me to Doyle. But anyways, so I was waiting for this to load. So yeah, they don't have yesterday updated yet, but he had 3 hard hits yesterday. He had 3 hard hits on April 30th. Only won the 29th, the game before that, but it was a barrel. And then he had 0 the 28th, but then he had 2 on the 27th, and he also had a barrel in that game as well. So his last 5 games, that's 3, 6, 7, 9 hard hits in his last 5 games, which is not amazing, but when it's 6 in the last 2, that's pretty good. And it's a pitcher that we aren't scared of. Robbie Ray, again, he's a lefty. 4 of his 5 home runs allowed have been against righties. Granted, it's in a much higher sample size, but even the home run per 9, 1.46 versus 1.35 is nothing to be scared of. So yeah, Brenton Doyle, I should give you the odds. It was plus 625 for him to hit a home run. It was 600 at FanDuel, but Bet365 had it at 625 odds. So those are our 4 official bangers for today. Again, O'Neal Cruz is probably going to get rained out. If he doesn't, if the game is played, I will count him whether he hits a home run or not. I'm not going to say if he doesn't hit a home run that he doesn't count if he plays. I just think that game's going to get rained out. So officially, we are risking 1.15 units to profit 4.61. That's the hope for today. In terms of leans, I do have a couple leans for you guys. I really, really wanted to go. I was close to going with Corbin Carroll because he's been red hot at the plate. The scary part with Corbin Carroll is that he's going up against a lefty, and the lefty, Jesus Luzardo, hasn't allowed anything. Now, Carroll has been good against lefties. Carroll could hit one off the bullpen, so plus 475. That is a plus EV play, plus actually 525 at Bet365. If Cruz does end up getting rained out, I might pivot to Carroll. I'll let you guys know if I do that. Everything I play is sent out for free on Twitter, but it's first sent out to Tails. So if you're ever curious what I'm actually officially betting, check out my Tails account. I'm also on Juiced Reels, I think is what it's called, which just syncs with all your sports books, so you can actually tell what bets I'm actually placing myself. But yeah, so that was a lean. The Philly guys are good as well, Harper and Schwarber. Now, Ballpark Pal is higher on Harper, and you're getting a better price. Schwarber's been way better at the plate. Schwarber has much better history against this pitcher. So I would, if the odds were better than 240, I would actually lean Schwarber. You could put them in an SGP. Hope they both go yard. I don't think that's terrible. And then there were a couple guys on. So Brian Bayo is pitching for the Red Sox, and they're going up against the Twins. Bayo gets crushed by lefties, and the best hitter on the Twins, Buxton, I looked at. He's not bad. And I looked at where is Ty France as well. Ty France at 900 is probably worth the play. Now, this game also, you worry about whether in this game getting rained out. but I didn't officially go with any of these guys on the Twins. It's because Bayo's worse against lefties, and the best lefties either going to be Trevor Larnach or Eduard Julian, who also plus 950 isn't bad, plus EV on Ballpark Pal. So a couple leans for you guys, and then also there was one more that there's the Nats guys. That game's definitely going to get rained out, so that's why I held off on that game. It's the best game from a weather perspective, but I mean we're like 80%, 70% chance of rain. From a weather perspective, that game's amazing, plus 38, but that's not going to be played. So there's at least a little bit of a better chance that the O'Neill Cruz one gets played. But regardless, 4 official bets plus some leans for you guys to lock in: Ohtani, Rooker, Brenton Doyle, and O'Neill Cruz. I would love to get one of these guys to hit a home run and make some money. I would love even more if we got multiple to hit a home run. So let's hope that happens. That's all we got. Appreciate you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys for rocking with me during this rough stretch. Check out Ballpark Pal. Check out my Tails account. And that's all we got. So thanks for watching. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.